He closes his laptop 5 minutes before the meeting ends, not because he's done, because he's already delivered more than anyone else in the room. The numbers are clean. The project shipped early. The client is satisfied. On paper, he's the top performer. But as the meeting wraps, something subtle happens. His manager doesn't ask for his input on the next initiative. Instead, they turn to someone else, someone less productive, less precise, less proven. There's a pause, a quick decision, a quiet signal. And just like that, the trajectory shifts. What he thinks is happening is simple. They must not have seen the full results. What's actually happening is much more uncomfortable. They saw everything. They just didn't see him the way he thinks they do. Because inside most companies, there's an unwritten rule. Your results are reviewed, but your image is what gets decided on. And once that image locks in, it starts shaping outcomes before your work even gets evaluated. If you want to understand the hidden rules of work before they cost you, subscribe. Most people believe something very clean, very logical. That performance drives opportunity. That if you consistently deliver strong results, the system will eventually reward you. It sounds fair. It sounds rational. It's how most employees justify staying loyal, working harder, pushing through. But structurally, that's not how most organizations operate. Because performance is not the primary decision-making input. It's just one input. The real driver, the one that quietly dominates promotions, visibility, and trust, is something far less measurable: perception. More specifically, your corporate image. Not who you are, not what you've done, but how the system has categorized you. What most people never see is that companies don't evaluate individuals from scratch every time. They don't reprocess all your work objectively. That would be too slow, too expensive, too complex. Instead, they rely on something faster: a compressed narrative, a mental file, a simplified version of you. And once that version is formed, it starts acting like a filter. Every action you take is interpreted through it. Every result is contextualized by it. Every opportunity is gated by it. This is the corporate image rule. Your image determines how your results are interpreted, not the other way around. From the outside, it looks like people are being rewarded for performance. Structurally, something else is happening. Two employees can produce similar outcomes. One is seen as high potential. The other is seen as solid but limited. Same results, different trajectories. Why? Because one fits the internal image of leadership, the other fits the image of execution. And once that classification happens, the system starts reinforcing it. The high potential employee gets more visibility, more exposure to decision makers, more chances to be seen thinking, not just doing. The reliable executor gets more work, more responsibility without authority, more proof that they're dependable, but not promotable. What they don't realize is the signal was never just their output. It was how their output felt to others. There's a second layer to this that makes it even harder to detect. Because corporate image isn't built from major moments. It's built from small, repeated signals. How you speak in meetings, when you choose to stay quiet, what you prioritize, how visible your thinking is, how others describe you when you're not in the room. None of these feel decisive on their own, but together they create a pattern. And the system doesn't evaluate patterns consciously. It absorbs them quietly. Over time, until one day, without a formal decision, your image is already set. What makes this more dangerous is how invisible it is to the person being evaluated. Because, from their perspective, they're doing everything right. They're hitting targets, meeting deadlines, solving problems, being reliable. They assume this builds leverage. But in many cases, it builds something else: predictability. And predictability in corporate systems often lowers perceived potential, because the system starts to associate you with stability, not growth, execution, not leadership. And once that association is in place, your results stop expanding your opportunities. They start locking you into a role. That's why some employees feel stuck despite consistent performance. Why they're valued but not advanced. Why they're trusted with work but not decisions. It's not random, it's structural. The system isn't ignoring their results. It's interpreting them through a fixed image. And that image has already answered the question the company actually cares about. What role do you belong in? The consequences of this are quiet, but compounding. You get assigned work that reinforces your existing image. You're excluded from conversations that could reshape it. You become less visible in the dimensions that matter for promotion. Over time, your career doesn't stall suddenly. It narrows. Your range of possible outcomes shrinks, until eventually, the system offers you exactly what it believes you fit, nothing more. And here's the part most people never realize. Once your image is established, improving your results alone rarely changes it, because the system isn't waiting for more proof. It already thinks it has enough. So when you work harder, deliver more, push further, you're often reinforcing the very identity that's limiting you. More execution, more reliability, more confirmation. The image gets stronger, not weaker. That's why some employees make a lateral move or switch companies and suddenly accelerate. It's not because they became more capable overnight. It's because their image was reset. The system saw them differently from the start, and that changed how every result was interpreted. Same person, different narrative, different outcomes. So the real problem isn't effort. It's not intelligence. It's not even performance. It's alignment between your output and the image it creates. Because in corporate systems, perception is not a byproduct. It's a mechanism. And if you don't manage it, it will manage you. This doesn't mean results don't matter. They do, but not in the way most people think. Results are necessary to stay in the system. But image is what determines how far you move within it. One keeps you employed. The other decides your trajectory. So the reframe is simple, but uncomfortable. You're not just producing work. You're producing signals. Signals about how you think, how you operate, what level you belong to. And those signals are being interpreted constantly, whether you intend them or not. The employees who move ahead aren't always the ones doing the most. They're the ones whose image aligns with what the system is looking for. They understand visibility. They understand perception. They understand that being seen a certain way is not superficial, it's structural. And they shape that image deliberately, not loudly, not artificially, but consistently, because in the end, the system doesn't promote effort. It promotes narratives. And if your narrative is already written, your results will simply be used to justify it. The decision about your future role often isn't made in the moment you expect. It's made gradually, silently, through accumulated perception. By the time you're being evaluated, the conclusion is already forming. By the time you're asking for more, the system has already decided what you are. And that's the rule most people never see. Your results don't define your image. Your image defines what your results are allowed to mean. If you don't shape that image, the organization will. And once it does, it becomes very difficult to escape. Because in corporate systems, the ceiling isn't always built above you. Sometimes, it's built around the version of you they've already decided you are.